show them how it's done.
The lift's going to make a big, huge difference because before we'd have to call my husband from work. He'd have to come home, leave work, and come up here, help us lift him, and then go back to work. So now we don't need that. We can do it on our own.
Okay, that's the functional thing. What about the coolness, the lights, the blinds, all that?
That's an extra bonus. That's awesome. We have actually a gamer coming here in a couple months, and he's going to have an awesome time in here gaming with Jonathan. So.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's sad. Except for the outside.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are liking that.
Oh,
We are going to bring the.
welcome to Case.
But then we got them to realize that we couldn't specialize feet.
Oh, there's going to be a day. There's going to be a day.
They're already outgrown.
Well, there's not going to be.
Hey,
We'll have to get doing.
Yeah.
I think they're my size.
I know. What size are they?
We could stuff something in the toe.
Yeah.
That's my size. Yeah.
Perry in the house.
It's like the roughest part.
So when Jonathan was in the PICU at Vanderbilt, his best friend Braden, which is in there, came down to Nashville to see him and brought him a shirt that said "Legends Never Die." And he told his mom that Jonathan was a legend because this should have killed him, but it didn't. And he was going to come out of it, and he was going to come out of it strong. So every time Braden came to the hospital to see Jonathan, he'd bring him a Legends Never Die shirt. It was all kinds of different ones. I don't know where he was getting them. So he's got 1,000. Actually, he had one earlier on. He's got 1,000 of these shirts. This is Legends Never Die. And so for Christmas, I actually built the boys, both Ethan and Braden, a wooden box, and I put LED lights in behind of it, and I had the heartbeat, and I wrote on it "Legends Never Die," so they all now have one for their bedrooms.
Because the doctors really tried to encourage you to take him off live.
We had a family meeting, and we thought that it was okay. He's waking up, everything's looking good. What's our next steps? You know, when are we going to get him to therapy? And we had about 20 doctors sitting around us, and they each went down of why we should pull him off of life support. That he would never have a functioning life. He would be miserable. That he would never move from the neck down. That was his life. He would never talk. He would never do anything. The only movement he was supposed to have gotten back was just his neck, and that was it. And then we look. They were going to pull the tube out of his throat, and they were going to watch him breathe. And they all looked at us like we were crazy. And I think they honestly thought that we were going to end up killing him. Is what they thought. But as soon as they pulled the breathing tube out, he started breathing.
That was probably the most sleepless, restless, tireless night I ever had because she came back home with the kids, and I was there the day that they pulled the breathing tube out, and I was talking to them. The first 24 hours was the most critical, and it was probably the toughest time.
We talked to the surgeon that did his brain surgery about a week and a half after his surgery, and we asked, "What's your honest opinion?" Because at this time, Jonathan was communicating. He was still on life support, but he was communicating very well. Like, what are your thoughts now? And he says, honestly, I gave him 2 to 3 days to live. He says he was in such bad shape, and because his aneurysm was right here, it was already in a very dangerous spot. When it ruptured, a ruptured aneurysm should have killed him. On top of that, he had a brainstem stroke, which should have killed him, and he survived it. Then he was diagnosed with locked-in syndrome, and if you know any of the background on locked-in syndrome, your life expectancy is very short. Jonathan, so I think it was last Tuesday, Jonathan had held his left arm up for like 9 seconds. This past week, Jonathan held his arms up by himself, holding a pole, for about a 30-minute session. He was holding it up, and then he would
Wow.
drop it, and then he'd go right back up. So he did that for about 30 minutes straight. And then Friday was our third swallow study that we had done. Jonathan was silently aspirating on his saliva and his water and stuff that we were giving him. So Friday we went for a swallow study, and he is passing it. It went down fast into his stomach and nothing going into the lungs.
Yeah.
And so through this,
Yeah, you can
I like that one. That one's
Are you
cool.
good there?
That's my favorite.
Okay. That's his favorite. Is there?
There you go.
We good?